The timing isn't right. I was biking and it had just started raining. Earlier that day, I was thinking, oh, I guess that's the only benefit here in the Bay Area. I don't have to read a weather report. In Singapore, I had to think about whether it's going to rain or not. Not that it's cold, but it's just not as fun to ride in the rain. Especially with glasses. There's no windshield wipers for glasses yet, as far as I know. And I was thinking, that's one of the only benefits of being here back in California compared to Singapore. It's more expensive here in California. It's less safe. There's no bike paths. As in, there are some bike paths, but you can't really go anywhere via bike paths. It's much more dangerous biking on a road. In Singapore, I just biked on a sidewalk. Here, you're not supposed to over there. I'm not sure if you're supposed to or not. People do. Nobody really minds. You don't get yelled at. People make way for you. They're wide as well. It's not as green here. Did you ever go to the Pacific Northwest? It's lush. Here, even when it rains, it's still nothing compared to that or many other parts of the country or the world for that matter. But the thing is, as I was biking and the rain was pouring down, it's getting wet, the timing is actually never right. The timing is more often wrong than right. Even before this pandemic, I would get frustrated by planning vacations. I want the flight timing to be perfect. I hate red eyes, overnight flights where you can't sleep, but they're not long enough. In the US, they're 4 or 5 hours, and even if you could sleep on a plane, you prefer more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep, I presume. And then you get there horrendously early on the East Coast, and you're tired because it's like 5 a.m., which means it's 2 a.m. here in California. And then connections. Oh, I don't like a 40-minute connection. There's a high chance I'll miss it. No, I also don't want 4 hours in the airport. But 1.5, the perfect timing, they just don't give you that option. If you want to look into it, it's something called banking. And then the train, when I'm going to foreign countries, I think about taking a train because it's something we don't really do in the US. And this past November, I went to Sri Lanka and I was like, oh, how can it take 10 hours? How slow is this thing? I mean, I am on vacation, but I don't have all the time in the world. If I'm there for 4 days and the train takes 10 hours and I go here and there, and it's like all the time is spent on the train. I mean, I heard it's a scenic train ride, but still, how about 4 hours? Would that be good? Should I just drive? Oh, well, I guess they don't really recommend you drive. Okay, what about flying? That's always a great option, right? Flights are the same, pretty safe everywhere in the world. No, there's actually no flights at that time of the year. I looked it up. And then hotels are so expensive when it's high season, meaning it's good weather. When it's off season, they're cheap, but you get bad weather and you're staying in the Maldives and it's raining, and which is not how you would like to spend your time in the Maldives, right? And also right now, with no work in hospitals, I prefer to have work and just have a day off here and there, right? It's better time, better way of biking than to not have work. But I could bike a lot now because I don't have work. I could bike every day. I could train. Is that a bad thing? You know, timing is never perfect. We had an enjoyable time in Sri Lanka. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. The lesson of today is time is time is time. Time is valuable. We say this hour may be more valuable than another hour. It definitely costs more depending on where you are. Say you're at Disneyland, which is over $100 a day. Or you're in some place where it charges per hour, like a karaoke bar. But realistically, it's all the same. 1/24th of a day, 1/24th of 1/365th of a year. The secret to making time right is just to make the time count, to just take advantage of it, regardless of, quote, what time it is. Just do it. That's Nike's slogan, right? It's intended to mean don't think, do. But I'm going to change its meaning for you here. Just do it, even if the time isn't right. Don't think too much about optimal timing. You'll spend all your time, you'll waste all your time thinking, planning, figuring out how to make it optimal. The key is just take advantage of the time. Take it as it is. 5 minutes is not enough to do this or that, to do some writing. Just get a few jots down. You might be interrupted, but that's fine. You did some work. Waiting time only good for browsing your phone because you'll be interrupted? Load up a book. Watch a few minutes of that lecture you've been putting off. It's too late in the evening, too rushed to go to the grocery store. It's 1 hour before closure. You live 5 minutes away. Even though Google warns you it may be closed, it's no big deal. Just go. You have the time. Instead of figuring out the right time for everything, just think of the time for everything. Forget the word right. Just do it.